Hi guys, welcome to day 3 of the Gratitude Channel. This is Kate. I'm chilling out on my deck today. I thought it would be a nice day today just to chill outside for a second. But anyway, I wanted to share with you how things have been with me the past few days. It's really been amazing with this gratitude challenge. I've constantly been in gratitude mode, and as I was going through this process, I actually realized a couple of things that were happening. For one, it became much easier, like as the days went by, to find things to be grateful for. I remember on day one, I think by 9 o'clock that night, I was still looking for my fifth thing to be grateful for. But yesterday, by noon, I had all my 5 things that I was grateful for, and still things kept coming. And I think what that really means is that the more we look for things to be grateful for, the more we're easy to see and appreciate even the little things. But not only that, I happen to have a lot of synchronicities. It's like I started to draw to me, like yesterday, I met a couple of people who were on the same path, right? So we were sharing our journey, and they were happy and excited, and so was I. And, that momentum just kept on building. And I also have found that the more you're grateful for what you have, or the more you're grateful for things around you, just maintaining that attitude of gratitude, the more the universe gives you things to be grateful for. And quite frankly, I've just come to realize that, for example, this morning I had a couple of problems that I needed to resolve or to solve. And I don't mean problems like life problems, but just some problems that needed creative solutions that I was thinking about, for example, at work. And this morning I just woke up, and it's like, I had all these creative ideas on how to solve these problems. And so I think that also being grateful is putting me in a mode where I'm able to receive more inspiration. I'm able to unlock the creativity in my mind somewhere. Because honestly, for one specific problem, I had been thinking about that for about 2 weeks, racking my brain and thinking, how do I solve this issue? How do I do this? And then this morning, it was just like I woke up and the idea just popped into my head. And I'm thinking, how come I never thought about this before? So I just want to encourage you to keep on with the attitude of gratitude, because for me, what it's doing is it's keeping me at peace. Actually, I'm more peaceful. And I've also realized, actually, that in maintaining this attitude, or being in this space where I'm always grateful, I have less chatter in my head. I'm not thinking as much, which is like the weirdest thing ever, But I think maybe what that is sometimes the mind it chatters a lot, and there's all these things going on in our heads. And sometimes a lot of thoughts that we have are, we're worrying, we're complaining, we're grumbling, we're critical, we're thinking about what we don't want. So once we start to take those things away, what's left is just more space in our heads where we're really just not thinking. At least for me, I've been in this space where there's been very little chatter in my head, which is actually quite welcome, because sometimes I feel like you don't even realize how much your mind is busy with so many things that are useless or not really helpful until you have that peace inside your head and it's just quiet for a second. So that's been my experience so far. And but today I had a really crazy experience that I'll share with you, and then I'll sign off. And it's that I went to Whole Foods to get something to eat around lunchtime, and I was waiting for this parking spot, and there was this car that was behind me that was also waiting, but there were other parking spots, This just happened to be closer to the entrance. And why doesn't this woman, like when the car was backing out and I had indicated left to get into that parking spot, the woman behind me pretty much just drove, and she cut in front of me and took the parking spot. And I was like, oh my God, I could not believe what I had just seen, And my first instinct was to begin to complain about it in my head. Like, oh my God, who does that? You would think people who go to Whole Foods, who are all conscious about the environment and taking care of, the environment and being green, blah, blah, blah. You would think that their philosophy would also be don't be rude and don't cut in front of people, you know? But in the moment when I started to feel the need to have this self-talk in my head and to complain in my head, I started to feel like the negativity, like come up inside me, and it just felt a little bit foreign to me, And so I just had to ask myself, is it really worth it? Is it worth it to let that situation take away the peace that I have been having for the past 3 days? And the answer is no. So I think that what I realized with this experience specifically was two things. The first was that being in a constant mode of being grateful put me in this place of peace and serenity, and it was to such a degree that when something happened that elicited a negative feeling inside of me, I felt that negativity that much more strongly, and it felt like a foreign object to me. It was immediately something that I felt repulsed by, that I didn't even want to have a part of, which is good news, right? So the second thing that I also realized by this experience was that sometimes you really just have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And for me, it just was not worth it to harbor that negativity any longer than it needed to be harbored, which is pretty much not at all, right? Because that then would have disturbed my peace, and I think that my peace is much more valuable than a stranger who cuts in front of me and takes a parking spot. I mean, it's a nice, beautiful day. There's so many other places I can go park. I mean, what's the big deal? So I think also the point that I want to encourage you is that when you find yourself in situations where things happen that try to destabilize you and get you off your path where you're feeling at peace and grateful and thankful and just happy, sometimes, no matter how bad the situation, I think what you could do to help yourself would be to find some sort of meaning in the situation. Try to reinterpret the situation in a way that it does the least damage to your emotions and to yourself, right? Because lots of people say that, things are just things. Events are just events. They're neither good nor bad, but it's our thinking that makes it so, right? So if I look at a specific situation, it's the meaning that I attach to the situation that could either make me feel bad or make me feel good. And in psychology, this is called cognitive reappraisal. Cognitive reappraisal is the process. It's a process. It's a mode of regulating your emotions, and this is where you actually, when you experience something negative, you try to look at the situation in a way that minimizes the negative emotions that might arise in you. It's a way of reinterpreting the situation to make it better, therefore improving your overall experience, right? So I'll talk more about it maybe a little bit later. If this happens again, then I can go into more details. Or if you're more interested in me talking about it a little bit more, send me an email and I'd be happy to do that. So this is day 3, lots of interesting things. I encourage you to stay the course, find more things to be grateful for. And, today I'm grateful for creative ideas that have been unlocked as a part of this process. I'm also grateful for being able to practice gratitude even in circumstances that might have taken me off my course for a little bit. And of course, I'm grateful for you, fellow travelers, and I call you travelers because we're all on the same journey, trying to find peace within ourselves and trying to find ourselves at a deeper level. Take care, guys. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll catch up with you on Sunday. Thanks. Ciao. Be inspired and spread the love.